Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of the podcast. This podcast doesn't need a fancy name, and I kind of feel like that dilutes the purpose, right? It's a podcast. You're here to listen to people talk. You don't care about the name of the podcast, you just want to hear people talk. So here I am, I'm going to talk. Now, we have a lot of topics on today's agenda. It's going to be quite an exciting first episode. Catch a lot of people's attention. Going to get a lot of fans. Going to grow this podcast into something fantastic. And the first step to growing a podcast is to be interesting. You got to talk about stuff that people want to hear. So, let's start with the topic of the day. Mushrooms. I'm not talking about a magic mushroom or, that sort of thing. I'm talking about just normal, ordinary mushrooms, right? Kind you buy at the supermarket. Hands up here if you like mushrooms. Oh, that's strange. I don't see any hands up. Well, it turns out nobody likes mushrooms, which makes you wonder why they sell them. Why do the supermarkets sell mushrooms and for quite an inflated price if people don't like them? To me, it doesn't make any sense, especially because, right, I'll go on my walk to the supermarket and I'll see a bunch of mushrooms growing on the grass on the side of the street. If you can get mushrooms for free right there, why would you go buy them for an inflated price from the supermarket, especially in this economy? It just doesn't make any sense. Furthermore, okay, let's say that hypothetically somebody actually does like mushrooms. What are you going to do with them? Mushrooms on toast. I'll throw some mushrooms in my Japanese yakisoba stir fry. Or I'll put a mushroom in my burger. Mushrooms are just one of those foods that, foods, if you want to count it like that, like mayonnaise or anything with vinegar in it, where the food is always made worse by the presence of this ingredient, right? Like, name me one thing, right? Name me one thing that mushrooms make taste better. I'm waiting for a response, and no one's giving me one. Nobody has an answer because there is no answer. Mushrooms make everything worse. And to prove that, beyond the already infallible arguments I've provided, we name nuclear explosions mushroom clouds. Nuclear explosions are among the worst things that could possibly happen, and that's a mushroom cloud. We name them after mushrooms. What more of a sign could you possibly need that mushrooms are bad? It's all part of this capitalist scheme by the supermarkets. The supermarket employees are wandering down to work. They pick up the mushrooms from the street. They take them to their shop. They sell them for for expensive prices as a luxury item. I could do the same thing. I could go for a walk, pick up some mushrooms, and start selling them. But I start selling mushrooms to people, and suddenly I'm a drug dealer. The supermarkets do it. And they're ethical capitalist merchandisers. It's quite a double standard, to be honest, and I'm not too pleased about it. So, leave your opinions on mushrooms in the comments below, and that'll do it for rapid fire topic number 1. And we'll move on to rapid fire topic number 2, volcanoes. Alright, so Volcanoes are fucking cool, right? Except for the fact that they're not, because they never do anything. When was the last time a volcano did something cool? Exactly. Volcanoes are like filled with promise. They're full of lava. They explode. They split ash up into the atmosphere. But they just sit there for thousands, sometimes millions of years, doing nothing. They're as interesting as a pebble, a rock, a leaf on the pavement. They're just another part of scenery. But everyone's like, I want to be a volcanologist. I want to go visit a volcano. I want to climb a volcano. No. Volcanoes, frankly, are just a useless piece of landmass that I think we should just get rid of, right? There's a bit of an issue. There's not enough land for, all these crops and all this farm stuff. Let's just knock the volcanoes down, Put a paddock of cows there, or hell, a tropical rainforest on top of the volcano. Why not, right? It doesn't matter. There's a better use for it, so we should use it, right? Imagine, right? This is something that I imagine like the people in the UAE would probably be pretty keen on. Maybe Saudi Arabia with their big invisible, their like straight line city, right? That's a mirror on the other side. This is like one of the mega projects that they'd probably like. What if you got like a big volcano and then you just built a skyscraper on top of it? So it's like already really high up and hard to get to. And then it's just got a skyscraper on top. Isn't that like a cool tourist attraction? And then like, if the volcano erupts, you get a bird's eye view of the lava spitting everywhere. And I think that would make for a really cool sight, wouldn't it? You could be like, oh, look down there, that village and all those people are gonna burn to death because of the lava. Oh my god, I gotta get this for my Snapchat. I don't know, do people use Snapchat anymore? Am I hip with the kids? Maybe they're all about TikTok or, I don't know, there's probably some, like, new app like that I don't know about. I'm not woke enough for that sort of thing. But, yeah, that's my hot take. Pun, I guess, intended. Hot take on volcanoes. I just don't think they really serve a purpose, I think we could get rid of them and, yeah. Let's just get rid of volcanoes. Use that land for something better. Cool. Topic number 3. The Transformers movies. Now, these movies are a bit of a joke. A lot of people say that they're nothing but, cool explosions and, like, action scenes. And those people are correct. That's all the movies are. And it's the greatest thing ever. Literally, like, I know a couple people who might associate themselves as anime fans. I know anime fans. It's pretty cringe. I try to distance myself from them as much as possible. But it does come in handy for situations like this, where I can make a valid comparison. See, some of these anime fans like to watch these shows where it's like, here's a man sitting on his porch for 5 seasons, and it's about the visual metaphor journey of him watching the people walk by and thinking about his life. That shit's boring as fuck. Imagine watching that when you could watch fucking space alien robots, dinosaur robots, and fire truck race car robots battle it out through fucking cities and blow shit up. Doesn't that just sound infinitely cooler? It does. So people shit on these movies for lacking substance, but really, what's the point of substance anyway? Like, why do we care if a movie has substance? There's no point, right? Movie is there to entertain you, and the fact is that big, cool explosions and giant floating robots is entertaining. There's no arguing against that, right? Every single person in the universe finds that entertaining. And I think it's just that some people, perhaps because of social barriers, aren't willing to accept that. And I guess while talking about space robots and movies, I can talk about my personal experience. I went to go watch the 1980 Alien film, the original one, at the planetarium in my city. The planetarium was showing a movie for some reason. Don't really know why. My friend just told me about it. Yes, I know. This is quite an astonishing fact for somebody who knows anime fans, but I do in fact have a friend. My friend invited me to go watch this movie, and it was interesting. There was a Chilean girl telling us all about alien conspiracy theories before we watched it, giving us a planetarium tour of like, oh, here's where they thought they found a UFO, and here's where they didn't find a UFO, and here's where there's an alien, and here's where there's actually not an alien. It was kind of cool. No, it was terrible, actually. It was fucking stupid, but the Alien movie itself, right? So they're showing the Alien movie on the planetarium, which is a stupid way of doing it. Not only is it an old movie, so it doesn't look that great, you know. I respect the work they put into it, but it doesn't look that great by modern standards. But they put the rectangular movie on a dome, which stretches out the image. And they didn't account for this in their projection at all. So what it means is that the rectangular film now looks like a rounded trapezium. And so the bottom of the film is really wide, and the top of the film is narrow, but then it's like sort of got a fisheye lens effect as well. Just looks terrible. It was not a great experience. And also, if you haven't watched that film ever, or since it came out, there are a lot of flashing white lights towards the end. Just relentless flashing white lights all over the screen. You literally could die if you had epilepsy. Like, I do not think you will survive watching that film. Which maybe that is intentional, you know, to add to the horror experience. Who knows? Anyway, good movie. Not a great way of watching it. I would not recommend it to you, but you're not going to see it in this way anyway, so it doesn't matter. So, we'll move on from topic number 3 of Transformers to our final topic for the day. And I know, you're all saying, Brennan, it's only been 13 minutes and 57 seconds. How can you be ending on the final topic already? Well, the truth of the matter is, you can't give away all the good stuff straight away, alright? The biggest, thing that you need to grow a podcast is something for people to come watch. So, I'm going to end the podcast with one more little topic, I guess, for the day, shall we? So, walls, or kind of wallpaper in general, right? Walls and wallpaper designs are just strange when you think about it. Like, really ask yourself, why do we all just accept having wallpaper? Why? Why do we paint our walls? Why does it matter? Is it purely for aesthetics? Is that it? Is it purely for aesthetics? Out of everything. Now, some of you, if you've studied architecture or interior design at all, you might think, well, it's important to have light wallpaper because it means that the external or internal light will spread more because of the high albedo of the wallpaper. And that is a valid point, but does that really matter? Like, we have lights. If you have a light in the room already, you really don't need the light to illuminate more things because you've already got light. So it seems like just a bit of a redundancy. And then talking about, more about the walls themselves. Why? Like, we built the outside of a house, right? And my house has just got like a concrete exterior. It's not a particularly pretty house. It's just got like a bumpy concrete exterior. One, why does it have that exterior? Two, why would you take that exterior and then not just keep that exterior as the interior? Why do they have to be different? There's no practical purpose for them to be different. It doesn't aesthetically look particularly good on the inside or the outside. And even if it does, like, is that what we should be prioritizing with our housing? House prices are ridiculous enough as it is. I don't really feel like we should be, getting suckered into the details of, oh man, my wallpaper is beach white, not bone white. The house is unusable. It's a bit like the scene in American Psycho, the business card scene, ha 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 ha, the one that everyone's seen, the meme scene, right? It's kind of like that, but where that scene is like parodying the ridiculousness of itself, right? And how pedantic all of the businessmen are, trying to find a semblance of uniqueness among their extremely uniform lives. Society as a whole hasn't actually picked up on that joke. Like, we notice it in the film, but then we'll just sit here and go, my wallpaper does need to be that specific shade of grey. If it's not that specific shade of grey, it's unacceptable. Like, we're literally more pedantic about things that are more useless than business cards in our day-to-day life. So, I feel like, maybe we should just get rid of wallpaper entirely. Save the paper, precious resource. Save the Amazon rainforest. We can save on paint. Paint is not a particularly environmentally friendly thing to produce. So that would be a good idea. We can save the planet. And we can use the energy we save from that to start terraforming some volcanoes and harvesting some mushrooms from the forest. You see? It all comes full circle. So we're, approaching the 20-minute mark, and I feel like that's a good length for a podcast. So I'm going to start signing off now. It was nice having you all. Good to have a little chat, have a little bit of company, busy social man, but it's good to have a bit of time to just touch base with the audience and really, get to the nitty-gritty of life. I feel like we don't do that enough as people. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on mushrooms, volcanoes, the Transformers movies, and wallpaper down below. And please get into some ruthless arguments about it. We want to really get into the nitty-gritty of the discussion. Build a community of people who just fucking hate each other. Just scream at each other all the time. Because, frankly, that's going to give me and a lot of other people a pretty good laugh. So, give your hot takes on the topic, down below. And join me eventually for the next episode of the podcast, whenever that will be. And I'll give you a little teaser, shall I, for the first topic we'll be talking about next time. It's quite a doozy, so you need to be prepared for it, right? We're going to be talking about shoes. Now, I don't mean like expensive branded shoes. No, I'm just going to talk about the practicality of sneakers versus business office shoes, boots, sandals, all those good things. So that should really pique your interest. Alright, fuck off.